A beautiful afternoon to you and welcome to International Forum. I am Wilson Marshall. Today is all about coronavirus pandemic and the impact in U.S. electioneering process. Yes, more than 5 million or 6 million, and the number just keep on increasing, cases of infection of COVID-19 globally, and U.S. is the worst hit. But guess what? They are in the electioneering year. Despite COVID-19, one way or another, politicians must find a way to go out there to campaign. But how is this affecting the campaign? How is this affecting Donald Trump? How is it affecting Joe? How is it affecting the electorate in the U.S.? Don't forget also about the protests going on also in the U.S. It's all about what is happening right now in the presence of COVID-19, especially the election coming up towards the end of this year in the U.S. With me here in the studio to talk on this, I have a legal practitioner. Join me to welcome Osaho Osazuwa. Welcome to International Forum.
It is always my pleasure being here.
All right. I sit very close to Osaho Osazuwa. He is a vibrant youth, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Williams Owaifo. Williams, welcome to International Forum.
Thank you, Wilson. Good afternoon, viewers.
Okay. I want to start off with you, Williams.
Yes.
Donald Trump has always been there. He has always been outspoken. He has it according to his own campaign team until the outbreak of the pandemic. And that saw so many twists, turns, and changes in what he has built so far. And here we are preparing for the election, talking about the U.S. presidential election campaign going on, and all other things that pertaining to elections are just unfolding itself. Now, how do you think this man Trump really muster his guts, his courage, his acumen to retain the seat in the Oval Office?
Well, coronavirus has become a reality that everyone has to live with. And wise leaders have found a way around it. They found a way to manage it. Even leaders who don't have elections coming up have found a way to manage the pandemic in a very beautiful way. Take, for example, New Zealand. And this is what President Trump has not been able to do, because the election of this year, November 3rd, is largely going to be a referendum on how he has handled this pandemic, of which every expert out there will tell you that he has done very poorly with how he has handled it. If you would remember, in April, as at when the cases in New York had just hit its peak, America was in a lockdown, and the health experts were still saying, look, it's not a time to start saying, okay, after this peak, there's not going to be further problems. Especially Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is the top infectious disease expert in the United States. So he was very pessimistic about reopening the economy. But President Trump, who has always hinged his re-election hopes on how good the economy was doing pre-COVID-19, felt that the lockdown wasn't good for him. It wasn't good for the economy. About 40 million Americans, as at that time, had filed unemployment documents. So he felt the country needed to reopen. And then Dr. Fauci was still saying, look, there will be a second wave of this virus. If we are going to do a reopening, we have to follow the CDC guidelines. There is a part of that guideline that says, before you reopen, you must ensure that hospitalizations, the death rates, and the number of cases has been reducing or keeps reducing for a 14 days period. And as at that time, none of the states had met that condition. So most of them were saying, okay, let us do the reopening, in a phased way. But then President Trump was out there criticizing all the Democratic governors. In fact, the governor of Michigan at the time was saying that, look, for her own state, she's feeling that they may have to still do another 1 month of lockdown before they start easing restrictions. But Donald Trump said no, because some guys who are obviously Trump supporters, because you could see them with their Confederate flags, they had their guns, they had some of their Trump caps on. They said, look, they wanted to get a haircut, and for that reason, the economy must be reopened. So it took a very political turn, and leadership at the center was missing, because President Trump, as at this time, didn't want anything to do with leading, efforts to stop the virus. He told Americans that, look, this thing is going to fade away just like a miracle. But all of those promises have not panned out till today. And you could see it in the polls, how the election would likely go.
Okay, I will come back to you shortly. Thank you so much for that elaborate introduction to this discussion. Barrister Osanjo, he has spoken at length. The facts and the points raised by him, though so many Republicans may have a divergent view. But take a look at the man Trump. Now, this man was the man that refused to put on his face mask, so to speak, until of recent. This man also had been battered with protests, the racism protests. Now we now have the Confederate flag issue, and we also have him threatening protesters that, look, if you do not take time, we're going to use a severe measure to make you stop protesting. And there's still something like a second wave in America with thousands infected. How do you think this man will go through all this?
Thank you very much, Wilson. It is exactly moments like this that calls for true leadership. Greatness. Someone said that the forces of light shines brightest when they are contrasted with the forces of darkness. That only a soul that has truly suffered that can also truly realize joy. What was this talking about? That we come to know ourselves, we come to know our self-worth, whether as leaders or as followers or in whatever endeavor we have, when it is darkest, when there are so many problems that have not cropped up for centuries, like this pandemic. So that's what we have now, true leadership, calling for true leadership. And it is said that Nemo that could know about what you don't have, you cannot give it. Trump doesn't have it inside of him. He thought the presidency would be just rosy throughout. He thought by bullying China and bullying the world, he can ride that economic wave to greatness. That, look, I did well for my people when I was president, we were prosperous. That prosperity was to come at the expense of other nations. What the U.S. have been doing, the aid the U.S. have been giving over the years, cutting them down, anything that has to do with reducing the economic growth, like the global climate, because you cannot even produce certain things, because when you are talking about production, you have to talk about the impact that production will have on the climate. And Trump realized it was costing American GDP a loss because they were adhering to the Paris climate. He had to leave. He thought by purely economic matters, he will get greatness. What the problem was that inside of him, he was hollow, he was weak. He couldn't. There are things that when casting things come, like this pandemic came, it wasn't just in him to deliver. It was, imagine a president that will tell you that if you drink this infectant like a raid and what have you.
Yes. Well, later he debunked it. Yes. It was just a joke.
Oh no, of course it wasn't joking. That shows the level, the way he thinks. A man who will open his mouth and say that the virus will just disappear like a miracle, that shows the person, the way he thinks. This thing was novel. This thing was strange to him. He didn't know how to handle it. And in fairness, he couldn't handle it because it was not in him to give. He doesn't have what it takes to and the pandemic was affecting what he treasured most, the economy. It was either you save life or you save livelihood. And he chose livelihood over lives. Because he realized that there is nothing he could do about this pandemic, talking about social distancing, talking about limiting people coming out, and all those things directly impact on the production, on the economy, and those things were affecting him terribly. Even when it was very important, when all experts told him, look, we have to do something about this pandemic. We have to ensure the economy cannot open. We can only open at a very great cost. Just imagine today we speak, Europe is rolling back the restrictions on coronaviruses. Talk about that wonderful woman in New Zealand and what she is doing. Talk about South Korea and other places where they have been able to beat back the virus. Because what they strictly follow the science. They follow the strength, the strength of the coronavirus. They listen to the experts without any political infiltration. without any political or economic consideration. They put life on the front, that we must save life. And today they are getting the results. They not only save lives, now they are also saving livelihoods. But Trump couldn't understand the mass. He couldn't understand the logic. For him, it was economy. Anything that we just dent the economy a little, he couldn't stand it. Failing to realize that by opening up the economy, then it was not only it was going to increase the number of people dying. As of today, over 140,000 Americans dead, about 3.8 million infected only in the United States alone. Those numbers are staggering. Right. He thought he could just wish it away by saying before, he said that it was a hoax, that it did a new democratic hoax to make him look bad. They call it, that was early March, they call it coronavirus. Now, he went to court to stop them playing that tape and call it a hoax. He went to court to get him to stop the Democrats to use this kind of campaign. Okay. That's the kind of person he opens his mouth, he's talk before he thinks. Okay. And now this pandemic has really eaten him up. There's no way you can talk it away. Okay. People are directly affected. People are dying. People are suffering. People are losing. People are filing for unemployment benefits. And there's no way you can just. There's no way you can talk it out. You can say it, and that way you'll be trying to say it does not exist. Imagine in the midst of this greatest pandemic that have been the US for centuries, he will give a speech, he will not mention anything about the coronavirus. He will try to avoid it as much as possible. Okay. Because he doesn't have it in him to respond to what is happening.
I will come back to you, all right? Because it's like you guys are just Trump didn't handle the situation very well. Now we have over 3 million infected cases or infectious cases in America, and of course over 100,000 deaths recorded. And like what you rightly said, many persons are fighting for unemployment. Do you think that this will speak negatively for Donald Trump, knowing fully that this is a novel disease? People are saying that it's not Trump's fault in so many ways, but this is new. They just cannot handle it. And of course, sympathizers also of Trump, they are saying it through this view that, look, it's not Mr. President's fault. He tried his best, but his best isn't good enough. Do you see it shaking his chance of becoming or retaining the Oval Office?
The truth is that the Republican Party is a party that they claim to believe in God. I use the word claim because...
Why would you use the word claim? Because they do believe in God.
They claim because if you are really pro-life, I think you should have taken this virus very seriously. So, and he has been that president who says, oh, it's all about jobs for him. The economy is roaring, everything is good. He praises himself too much, a little too much. Sometimes without looking back at the work that needs to be done. Even in the middle of this pandemic, he was still giving himself a pat on the back that he has done tremendously well. When in contrast with other industrialized nations who are actually much smaller in terms of economy and in every other wise to the US, have done so well. New Zealand has not recorded a single case since May 22nd till now. I think they have less than 200 deaths. And their neighbors...
Can you compare population of New Zealand to US?
Yes, I agree. But if we are even going to do a modeling of some sort, and you even reduce it per capita and all that, you still discover that Donald Trump handled this pandemic very poorly. Even Nigeria here, I will praise my president. The little he could do, he tried. Because if you look at Nigeria, in some cases when Buhari didn't understand the virus, he would not speak about it. At least he allowed the CDC do their job. And now I'm even finding out that the CDC is now asking for more funding to expand their capacity to do more testing. Donald Trump is saying he's not going to fund them because the more you test, the more the cases that will come up, and that the more the cases they have, it reflects badly on him. So it's always been about him, and he has been that president touting jobs. You forget that people need to have a life before they can have a job. Just some days here, I was ill. I couldn't move. I had so many things to do on that day. So you can imagine now that 140,000 Americans are dead, and you are still touting victory. You are telling yourself it took you 5 months. Donald Trump is so inept at his job that it took him 5 months to finally wear a face mask. Just imagine that. his rival on the Democratic side, Joe Biden, had been going out following Donald Trump's CDC guidelines.
All right.
He wears his face mask, and then Donald Trump will go on Twitter deriding him, humiliating him that he looks very bad in a face mask. So that puts into context his level of disconnect from this virus.
Okay. Now let's talk about Joe Biden. Following CDC's rules, and of course, all intent and purpose to really combat coronavirus in the United States of America. But if you take a look at this situation, would you want to say that Americans are going to, go out there to cast their votes based mostly on the outcome in the fight against coronavirus? Is that what they're going to base their decision on?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It goes far beyond the virus itself. There is so much at stake here. It's not the virus, but Trump's response to the virus. It could be something else. It could be a nuclear altercation with China or Russia. It could be some other naughty circumstances that demands clear-sighted leadership. It could be a form of just many other complexities might crop up that will challenge you inside. Can you stand up? Can you give this? In the midst of the Second World War, when the United Kingdom was almost the only country standing against fascism and against Nazism, we could hear the voice of a Winston Churchill rallying the free world to face the evil that Nazism, that racism presented in the form of Hitler. We could hear Churchill rallying the world that we can do this. He said, and I quote, that our qualities and deeds must shine and glow throughout the gloom of Europe until they become a veritable beacon of its salvation. That was in the midst of the Second World War. That was leadership. He had it in him to give. So it might be other circumstances might come that might also call for true leadership for the occupants of the White House. Trump has shown the world today that he doesn't have it, that he is hollow, that he has no philosophical background.
That is your own opinion, because many persons are still for Donald Trump.
The number of deaths will prove it.
Listen, this is something that is killing Americans. There was a time about 2,000 persons were dying in New York daily. Yeah. It was that bad. And people in the South who like to think they are Christians, they like to think so. They were saying that it doesn't concern us. They were saying go to beaches in Florida. In Texas, they were just going out. They were saying throwing parties somewhere in Alabama, Mississippi.
COVID parties.
They think it doesn't, that it is a democratic, because when it came, it's the democratic stronghold of the Northeast, the industrial Northeast, New York, the Boston area, then he also went to the West, the California area. So that way, then Michigan. So the people in the South who are mostly Republicans, they thought it was, yes, it's good for them. But what do we have today? Those guys in the North, they knew that, yes, this is a pandemic. This is a purely, in fact, the coronavirus doesn't know if you are a Democrat or you are a Republican. It affects everybody the same way. And they took up the mantle. Thank God for Governor Cuomo. You saw those briefings he was given daily. You saw his in-depth analysis, because he knew the problem that was confronting New Yorkers. And he responded because he had it in him to respond. Contrast to Trump. It took Trump months to finally realize that, look, we might have a problem, and declare that that's a wartime president. For like about 2-3 weeks, we saw Trump on television giving us briefings about the coronavirus, very hollow briefings. And you know what is fast is that those briefings were about 80% about himself. What he has done. That is not for him, about millions would have died. That is not for him. He will give briefings, instead of talking about the fast, what is happening, he was talking about himself, about the response, giving himself praise. That was what he did until he started going into nonsensicals about the issue of the infectant, about how bleach can kill it, how sunlight can kill it, how hydroxychloroquine can kill it. He was just flying, and they had to stop. Don't come to the briefings again, because he has a way of turning everything to become about himself. In the midst of a pandemic, that when people are dying, you are still talking about what you see think about is about yourself, about how you look, like when you wear a face mask, how you look. Everything about him has to be about himself. about how it will affect him, about how he will look, about what people will think. You won't wear a face mask. You know what they say? Now, once you wear a face mask, you are weak. It shows weakness to wear a face mask. It shows you are not strong. It shows you are against him. That people who wear face masks are Democrats. People who doesn't wear, they are Trump people.
Right.
But coronavirus only recognize if you are a Trump person or you are a Biden person. So his own, he has the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and even the White House own guidelines. They brought those guidelines to reduce the spread of the virus. Democrats were adhering to guidelines that the White House brought. The White House itself, the president said that his own guidelines, he was disregarding them. It has such leadership that will not say, look, you asked a very good question. Coronavirus itself affect the outcome of the election. It would not have mattered. After all, Trump is not a god. Was he the one that caused the virus? When Trump talked about the Chinese virus, yes, of course, it's an historical fact that it started from Wuhan, China. Nothing will ever change that. If you think there's something bigotry or there's something anti-China about it when you say it's a Chinese virus, you might have your point. But the fact also remains that it came from China.
All right.
Yes, but it came from China. It didn't start in the US. You had time to prepare for it.
Okay.
You had time to ensure it doesn't come.
All right. Okay.
Ample time to ensure it doesn't come.
But
I see nothing about
right
it.
now, it has gone into the US. It's in the US. The question now is what can be done about it, knowing fully that the election is fast approaching. This is the social media playing an important role when you talk about campaigns, or is it going to be crowd of supporters coming, cheering, listening to the candidates of each political party in America?
Well, the Republicans have grossly disdained science, and that even proved true sometime in June here, where Donald Trump held his first rally in the midst of a pandemic. In fact, the venue where he used, they actually put things in between seats so that people don't sit in a cluster. But the organizers removed them because, just like my co-discussant had rightly said, they feel you are weak when you obey guidelines. You know, you have to be rebellious to even your own guideline. So they removed them. People sat, the way they liked, and so I don't think there will be a departure. But maybe of late he has been trying to catch up with his own guidelines. He's now wearing face mask. Yesterday he tweeted that, oh look, they said whoever wears a face mask is patriotic. Look, he's wearing a face mask. After 5 months into the virus, and after 140,000 Americans dead. So I think the Democrats are going to do more of the virtual kind of campaign, which Joe Biden has been doing. Even the Democratic National Convention that is coming up, I'm already envisaging something virtual. I usually tell people, when you can believe in God and still have knowledge of science and respect science, they both can go together. You don't get to ming it and just cross the road because you have God. You pray, and then he gave you eyes to use. He gave you legs. You don't just pray. I didn't wish myself here. I didn't pray myself to ITV. He gave me legs, and I came here. So God has given us science. Science is a gift. When I have headache, I take Fensic. Now, science is saying social distancing is what we all need. Donald Trump wanted to jam-pack people to prove that he has popular support. Once again, about himself. Never about
himself. To give them faith and hope.
No, because if it were about the people, if you remember, Dr. Fauci will always say, when you wear a face mask, it prevents droplets from coming out from your mouth. So it's not really about you. It's about your neighbor. It's about your environment. So it reduces the spread. But he would say no. He cannot mandate people to wear face masks. In fact, he doesn't want the media to see him on a face mask. After much backlash, months after months, that look, President, you just lead by example. This is very simple. Just lead by example, please. That was when he eventually wore a face mask the first time, and then he has now been touting himself as a patriotic American for doing something that Democrats have been doing 5 months ago. So these facts are before the American people. They are going to have to choose. A man who started obeying a guideline, even if it was not set by himself, but he knew it could protect his environment, or the one who set a guideline, because he wanted to prove himself as a strong man, started disregarding his own guideline. If that is the better option for them, I think Americans will have the choice in their hands.
All right, if that is the better option for them, Americans will have the choice in their hand. Now, what format of campaign do you think Trump will favor? Because according to him, the Democrat will go for a virtual form of campaign. But for Trump, he has already removed restrictions, though you see asked them to put on their face masks and the rest of them. Do you see Democrats, Republicans coming together to chant, he is our man, Donald Trump, during the campaign?
There's only one way for Trump now. It has to be virtual. He cannot. In fact, Tulsa, Oklahoma proved that it is finished as a force because he rolls on the back of populism. It's finished. Do you know they hyped that? Do you know they built another in that Tulsa rally? They built an extension for over 100,000 people, while the indoor was about 18,000 there, about I've forgotten. You know the indoors, they got only 6,000. And they had to dismantle the extension they built outside because nobody came. 6,000. When you say they were expecting over 1 million people, now over 1 million people have applied, but there is no space. Only 6,000. And then those 6,000 that came, you know, they signed, they had to undertake that if they contract COVID in that center, they won't sue this Trump campaign. They have to sign that if they contract COVID while attending the rally, that the Trump campaign is not liable. That is the height of hypocrisy. So now he realized that the crowd, he cannot have the crowd again. They have seen him because he wrote on the back of what they call white large. They kind of thought that Obama was a mistake. Some white people thought that look, this is our man. That how can a black man be in the White House? For all we ever say, they see certain places that will always be racist, and he got their backs and they put it in. And they are not saying that it's nothing, that he has nothing to offer. In fairness, Trump has nothing to offer.
But he's been offering so much in American society until the advent of the novel COVID-19.
No, even before
you can't take it from him about the economy. You can't take it from him.
Yes. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic. The latest next month, not even this month, the vaccine will be had. Even the one that the UK vaccine that came out last week, I've been going to trials. It is quite effective. There are not going to be any side effect now. Very soon it will go on, and then COVID will be behind us. By November 3rd, when Americans go to the poll, COVID will be something of the past, and the election will not be decided based on the pandemic that broke out, but based on Trump's response to that pandemic, which was very poor. The Americans realized how he raised all the white flag in the midst of battle and surrendered to coronavirus. Because what he did was that he surrendered. He said, we cannot never fight, let's open. Let those who can survive, let those who want to die, let them die.
But he never said directly.
That's what he told them directly. That's what he did. Directly. But he told himself that we cannot win this war. So if, by God's grace, a vaccine comes out, it will open up the space and people will feel safe to come and vote. But we realize that, look, this man we have in the White House has nothing for us. This man is shallow, everything about himself. He thinks the moon, the sun, and the nine planets revolves around him, like the center of the universe. That's the way he thinks. They will remember that and they will get to see him.
Gentlemen, our time is up. You have 30 seconds each to summarize your points. Now, the election is fast approaching. What do you think will be the next move for both parties, Democrats and Republicans? 30 seconds each.
Democrats and Republicans, the mail-in ballot system is there. People can vote by mailing in their votes. But because of the Republicans gerrymandering, they've always been in the business of trying to disenfranchise the black voters, do things that will make them lose interest and go back home. And Democrats know that that's their strong point. So Democrats have been pushing, and any rational thinking person will push for mail-in votes. Since social distancing will be in effect, people can mail in their votes, and early voting should also take precedence in this case.
Thank you so much, William. So, why for Pastor House as well? 30 seconds.
Yes, the election is what it is. Now, all the polls we have now, giving Biden double-digit lead, 15%, 17%, 11%, 10%, 12% lead over Trump. I think by November 3rd, that simple we see old. We see how the 15%, 13% gap that we give to Trump, and the election has to go one way, and we all know that way.
All right, let's see what is going to happen come November. Americans will go on there to vote for the president. The president will take over the Oval Office, talking about the White House. Let's see how they are going to vote. Is it because the way the president handled the coronavirus pandemic, or other things that can just come out later on in the future to really make Americans realize the mistake, or let's say praise Americans all their efforts to ensure a new president? Well, that's it from us in the studio. Bye for now.